With the way things wound down for you, with everybody speculating whether or not you would or would not come back, and the way you came back the year before that, some wondered how you would deal with retirement. You said it's going well, but was it hard for you to deal with?
It actually was very easy, and I would be just like anyone else. I had no clue. I wondered what it would be like, and I guess there's two different sides to look at it. This is what he's done his whole life. He's not going to, that transition for him will be a tough one, because now what? Or he's played long enough that he's had his fill of it and won't look back. And I fall into the latter. I just didn't miss it. I tell you what I've missed, and it's Reggie White and I, who were really close friends, and after he retired, I talked to him all the time. And I would ask him that question, do you miss it? What's it like? And he had all kinds of projects going, but Reggie would always say to me, I don't miss the grind of playing. What I miss is the things that you would not think of at all. Bus rides, the locker room, planes, busting each other's balls and just having a good time and cracking up. And when I say winning and losing together, that camaraderie that you can never get again. It's just the fellowship, the relationships that you have along the way are irreplaceable. And that's what I miss. I mean, I don't miss winning a big game and then right after that game going, that wasn't good enough. And a lot of it is self-induced. I mean, you put so much pressure on yourself, much is expected of you, not only from yourself, but from your teammates, from the fans, from the coaches, and it's almost unbearable at times. And just being able to kind of take a deep breath and relax, I never could put myself at ease. It was never good enough.
You recently made some statements that, hey, I'm part at fault, the Packers are part at fault, but maybe talk about it, because it does seem like open wounds are starting to heal a little bit, and I believe you're one of the greatest Green Bay Packers that's ever played, and it only makes sense you'd return to Green Bay.
Well, I think it's a no-brainer. Like we all know, time heals pretty much everything. I think I've made numerous statements in regards to Green Bay and how I feel. My 16 years in Green Bay, I wouldn't trade for anything. I mean, it was fun. We were good. I wish if there's one wish that I could have, it would be that we won more than one championship. But I wouldn't change anything. It was a great ride for me, more than I ever dreamed of. I mean, to play in Green Bay, had I not ever played there, I wouldn't know. It's one of those things you don't know what you're missing. But it's a special place. There's no place like it. And the way the end went down, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate on my end. It's unfortunate on their end that we're even having to talk about this today. But, they wanted to go in a different direction, and quite frankly, I had no problems with that. I still felt like I could play. I left them in limbo, as we all know, kind of, yeah, no. And I didn't want to make a decision until I got right up to training camp, and that's probably where I was at fault. And I was also at fault for saying I'm retiring, because at that time and day that I talked to Mike McCarthy, I didn't want to play. I understood that they had a young quarterback who had tremendous potential, that they had to find out what he could do. And quite frankly, I had probably my best year in 16 years that past season. And there's two ways to look at that. If you're in the organization and you're making decisions, you got to feel like, okay, he had a great year, but he's probably maxed out. That's kind of what I would have been thinking. Obviously my side of it is I think I still can play. I understand you want to go in a different direction. It just, the way it went down was not the best of ways, and I think people have learned from it. And again, I'm over it. Aaron has played extremely well, probably even better than anyone anticipated, but I knew he was capable of that, and that's why they drafted him. And so, barring any injury, he'll shatter everything I ever did there, except for maybe consecutive games. But, when will the day come that I go back? I don't know that for certain. I think both sides agree that there's no sense in rushing anything for the public or whatever. I don't know what the response will be from the fans. I think there's a great deal of fans that respect the way I played and what I did for that organization, because I know I'm very proud of what what I left behind there. And that's really, to me, in talking about awards and talking about honors that have come along with me playing, I'm probably the least affected by those things. To even be mentioned in the Ring of Honor or the Hall of Fame or whatever, to me, is enough. I never played for those accolades. And I'm just honored to even be mentioned with some of the great names that not only have played in Green Bay, but in the National Football League. So playing itself in Green Bay for 16 years is trophy enough. And to play 20 years in the National Football League is, call it crazy or call it luck or call it unbelievable, whatever. To me, I always dreamed of playing the Super Bowl. I always dreamed of playing the National Football League. I never dreamed of winning the MVP 3 times. Never dreamed of Hall of Fame. Never dreamed of a lot of things that come along with it. I just dreamed of playing, and all my dreams have come true.
Brett, you've had to address your relationship with Aaron Rodgers. You've said he and I have a good relationship. Why is there this assumption that relationship was sour when you were there?
I guess it's a ratings boost. I have no idea. I mean, honestly. And I think Aaron, if he were on this phone right now, he would say the same thing. I spent a tremendous amount of time studying the game myself. In the latter part of my career, I was a lot more from the mental aspect of it. And I was trying to make up for maybe the lack of physical skills over time. I can remember pretty much all the time Aaron would say, "You mind if I watch a little film with you?" And this would be after people left, Wednesday, Thursday, at 5:30 or something. I say, "Sure." His style of play obviously is a little bit different than mine, but I would try to offer to him things that was not so much style, but things I looked at, little nuances that I looked at. The way I played the game doesn't mean you have to play it that way. And then from a leadership standpoint, just, always being accountable and things like that and taking the blame. Not really the flush out of the pocket here, do this. You got to play the game the way you play it. And he's done a heck of a job of that. But we spent a lot of time just kind of talking about whether it had made me successful. And very knowledgeable guy. And we got along fine. I mean, really, there were no problems between Aaron and I. I had no problem with him becoming the next quarterback for the Packers. It was bound to happen at some point. I have no problems with the success he's had. In fact, I'm proud of it.
Assuming time heals all wounds, what level of involvement would you like to have with the organization as an ambassador, if you would like one at all?
First of all, I don't think they need one. Green Bay, the reason it is Green Bay is because it's just that. It's the Green Bay Packers. The tradition, the history, the former players, the coaches that make up this great history speaks for itself. I don't have to go out and promote the Green Bay Packers. I don't want a position. I don't want to be given one just for kicks and giggles. I'll say it here. I'll say it any day, any time, to anyone. That is a tremendous organization that has been able to survive in a world that there's no way you would ever start a franchise in Green Bay. And no offense to Green Bay, it's the same size as Hattiesburg. But tell me where you have, a non-Jerry Jones ownership type setup that has succeeded. There's only one, and it's Green Bay in a market that there is no market. If you look at it from a grand scheme of things. And so, in due time, people will always remember me as a Green Bay Packer, which is true. My 2 years in Minnesota were great. I mean, I got to see it from the other side, which made me appreciate it even more. People there were wonderful. And in New York, as you said, I mean, we had it rolling, and, then I get hurt. But 16 years is 16 years. That's a long time. And to start all those games and to be a part of some great teams and players and stuff, it's just a special memory for me that will always be there. But I don't know. I mean, that's a tough question, I guess, to ask, because I'm not looking for any favors. I think the fact that I played there and played for so long and had great success to me is enough. I know what that's like in Green Bay to be there. I can remember TV timeouts, sitting there talking to the linemen and stuff, just kind of looking around. And I was always taking it in, and I'd look over and we'd have an alumni game or something, and there's Bart, and who I knew well, and there's Paul Horning, and there's Nitschke, Herb Adderley, the list goes on and on. Lynn Dickey, Jerry Kramer, Fuzzy Thurston, and I thought, if I play long enough, that may be me one day. And I thought, that's pretty cool. Because I played in a lot of places, other venues, and I didn't see that type of return. And as you guys well know, it's what makes it so unique. And there was a lot of great players who played in Green Bay over the years, a lot. Will I go to some games? Will I be a part of it?